Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Good. I just want to take the time to thank One Group and Bill, and I will also vouch for taking the tour. This place is amazing. You can tell by this room alone that it's pretty state-of-the-art. So find Bill afterwards, take the tour. I've also taken it twice. So I want to apologize ahead of time. I got sick on my way back from New York City last night, so I might sound a little nasally. And if I start to sway in the wind a little bit, it's just the medicine. Don't worry about it. So today we're talking about video, right? Starting about 5 years ago, give or take, a little company called YouTube was purchased by Google, right? And that really started kind of a big expansion in online video specifically. Now YouTube was around before that, and it definitely grew in value before that, hence Google buying them. But that really started a huge dive into video content production. And that opened up a lot of opportunity for everybody to create content. So what used to be reserved for big brands or media outlets to create video via TV commercials or non-social online video, we now saw a shift to anybody being able to put up any type of video. In fact, if you go and look up the first YouTube video, it's just a guy filming in his backyard just with a digital video camera. The first YouTube video ever, which is pretty hilarious when you look at it, because it's literally just somebody testing out the thing, and it's got like 27 million views just because it's the first video, right? But this opportunity was massive. At the time, not a lot of people really understood it or understood how to create this content, but any type of content they were creating was much more likely to get viewed because it wasn't saturated, right? People were creating content, and everybody was watching it. It's the same if you rewind back to like the 1960s when commercials, people actually liked to watch commercials because they were anybody watch Mad Men? Right? So that was kind of like the glory days of advertising because they romanticized brands. Fast forward to today, and there's so much content out there that it's very hard to get through. It's not romanticized in the least bit anymore. In fact, who loves watching pre-roll video on YouTube? Who loves watching those things that interrupt you from watching the video that you want? Right? Nobody. Who loves watching TV commercials outside the Super Bowl? Not many people, right? So this interruption marketing, while still there's still billions of dollars being thrown into it, this interruption marketing nobody likes, yet there's a lot of dollars and resources and effort thrown into it. So, and I'm not downplaying the effectiveness of TV commercials. They still do have their place. Same thing with YouTube pre-roll. It's just you have to know how to position yourself with these types of content and align it with other types of organic content to make sure that you're not pissing your customer off, basically, and turning them off to your brand. You have to provide enough organic content and value for them to want to sit through a 15-second pre-roll commercial, or for them to see your logo or to see your brand or whatever it might be in this interruption marketing, to see that and not get turned off because they like your brand, they trust your brand because of the other stuff you're doing for them. So in today's world, literally today, we have a huge amount of opportunity with video. It's beyond YouTube now. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, Snapchat. There's other ones, but those are some of the larger ones. They're all very valuable, and they're all places that each and every one of you, or your businesses, or your brands, or your clients, or your customers can produce content for relatively little to no cost. in a second here, I'm going to show you some examples of some different types of video. But I want you to know that video is not just, hey, let's film a 2-minute long brand promotional video and then put it on all these platforms. It is much, much, much larger than that and much more flexible than that. I'll start with the stuff that your mind probably immediately goes to when you think, hey, let's film a video. I'm going to show you Dollar Shave Club. You guys
Dollar Shave Club.
Maybe have seen this before. It's a hugely popular video. This launched this brand's business, essentially. They came out on Kickstarter. They had just gotten a bunch of funding right before this, and they chose Kickstarter to launch their brand, not necessarily because they wanted all the money that they eventually got. They got a ton of backing, something like $11 million or something crazy like that. Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform for those of you that don't know. But this campaign, aside from the money that they got, grew this brand exponentially very, very fast. You'll see why from the video. It's a very funny video. It's targeted towards the male demographic, obviously shaving, and it was very, very effective.
I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler can use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. Do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Good, Pop! Stop paying for shave tank you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. All 100 aren't going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandra, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
Still Vanderbilt. But this train, stay. Stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
So you can see why that video is attractive. You can see probably why people wanted to be part of that brand. We did some digging, actually, to try to find out what the production level was of this video and how much they spent on it. And we weren't able to come up with the exact numbers, but we did find that they did work with an agency, but they did work at a cost. So it wasn't that much money to produce this video. That and the founder, the CEO, is just a hilarious guy anyways, right? So he actually came up with a lot of the content. So this is kind of what most people think of when they think, hey, we need to produce a video. Now, I don't necessarily mean like a funny one or whatnot, but we need to be in video. We need to create a 2-minute long video. It can't be longer than that because nobody will watch it on the internet. It can't be shorter than that because it won't get our message across. But I'm here to tell you that you need to break out of that, hey, we need to film a 2-minute long video. There are videos on here that are hours long on YouTube that are very popular, right? There's media outlets like Vice. I don't know if you're familiar with Vice, which they have a huge YouTube presence. Their whole entire brand really launched on YouTube. They have half-hour, 45-minute long shows, right? People are watching TV on YouTube now. Many of you know that already. But the time, the time constraints are out the window. However long you need to tell your story, which is the most important part of a video, is how long you should make that video. They needed, how long is this? 1 minute 33 seconds, actually less than that, 1 minute 20 seconds to tell the story of why you should be part of the Dollar Shave Club. So we know that we need to break off from the time constraints. We know we need to tell a story, right? The story is what drives your video. So if we look at platforms like Twitter, right? Twitter has time constraints on their video, so you can actually upload videos directly to Twitter. Instagram has time constraints, 15 seconds. Videos can't be longer than 15 seconds right now. But these videos, you can still tell your story. Your story might be reaching out to somebody on Twitter and thanking them for having for messaging you, right? So if somebody sends you a tweet, we're all tweeting right now. Somebody says, you know what? Here. Oh, I can't do it. I'm recording. Crap. I'm recording the audio right here. So you all could pull out your phones right now and find the last person that tweeted you, and hypothetically, their tweet might be, hey, that was a great article you shared. Thanks for sharing. You can pull out your phone, film yourself. Don't tweet back to them. Don't text tweet. Pull out your phone, open up Twitter, film yourself, and say, hey, thanks a lot. I'm glad you found value in that, and I'd be happy to provide more value. Let me know what types of content you want to see from me. You send that back. How many of you have gotten video responses on Twitter from somebody? Nobody's doing it. How many of you would pay attention to somebody sending you a personalized video on Twitter? Because nobody's doing it. There's a book by Seth Godin called Purple Cow. I just thought of this. Purple Cow is about it's the premise that you need to create a purple cow, something that's completely different from all the rest in order to thrive and stand out. Sending a personalized Twitter video that's telling your story about how appreciative you are of that person is going to stand out from all the other people that are just sending back a little thumbs up emoji saying thanks, right? Like, that's lazy. That's easy to do. And if you're in a time constraint, sure, do that. But if you really want to make an impact with somebody, send them a video. On Instagram, people post videos and pictures all the time. There's comments that you can make, and you can say, hey, great post, or you can tag somebody to see that video. Or you can find them on Twitter or another platform and then try to engage with them there. You can send them a direct message on Instagram. You can go above and beyond and try to engage them a little bit further. But we need to understand this idea that there's a lot more opportunity in the video world than just a 2-minute long video that you push out to everybody in hopes that people are going to engage with your brand. What I'm trying to tell you is that you need to use video to have conversations with people. For those of us in social media, we know that social media is just that. It's social. It's like what we're doing right now. You guys chatted in the beginning before we started. Now, some of us are paying attention to one person that's writing a post or an article or doing a video, right? We consume content. You're consuming my content right now. And then afterwards, I'm going to chat with you. It works the same way in social media. And video is now just another form of social media content. Even a TV commercial is still an opportunity for social media content. So if we're talking about a TV commercial, the wrong way, and I will say the wrong way to get that to appear online or to try to get that to get legs online is just to take that TV commercial and then post it on YouTube and then just share it. Because one, people may have already seen it, and so why are they going to watch it again on YouTube? Okay, maybe they haven't seen it, but if it's meant to be a 30-second commercial on TV, do you really think people are going to engage with it in the same way online when they're clicking and flying through, doing this all day long on their feed, their Facebook feed or their YouTube feed? What's going to make them stop and watch? Whereas on TV, they either have to watch, or if not, they can fast forward through it. Or if you're like me, I don't even have TV. I watch Netflix and on-demand TV all the time, right? So I haven't seen a TV commercial in like 2 years, right? Unless I've seen it on YouTube. And that's not even a TV commercial. That's a different brand kind of video announcement. Excuse me. So there's different places for different types of video. So I wanted to use this time that I have to really give you guys value and learn a little bit more about you guys, what industries you're in, and what your concerns are, so I can give some real life kind of examples. But before I do that, I wanted to give some kind of overall things that we've found successful. Again, this is just things that we've found successful. This could be completely different for whatever business or brand that you're in. I'll start in the consumer goods industry. You need to really pay attention to what I said about the Twitter, the outreach, not necessarily the platform Twitter, but that outreach piece of it. Because platforms like Snapchat, Periscope to a certain extent, these real-time platform opportunities are huge, right? People are saturated with content. And so if you can go away from, let's get as many views as possible, right? Although that's still going to be a good strategy for some other platforms, but using these, if you can go after how can I touch people one-on-one, that will get you customer loyalty for life. That will get you interaction and engagement for life. So Snapchat. Most of you probably aren't in Snapchat for business yet, but if you're thinking about it, or even if you're thinking about doing it for your own personal brand, to try to grow your personal brand, which then in turn could grow your business, spend some time reaching out to people on Snapchat. On Twitter, spend some time reaching out, proactively reaching out to people on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. There's comments, right? There's comments below here. You'll have to scroll through the leeches, as we call them, the people that just kind of talk shit for no reason. But there's opportunity there. If you're in a complete offline business, you need to realize people are still online. If you don't have an e-commerce company or something like that, that doesn't matter anymore because everybody's on Facebook. Okay, there's a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. And if you're not yet, you will be in 2 years. I bet you maybe a third of this room said, I'll never be on Snapchat when it first came out. It's a social media network, right? It's just where people like post nudies of themselves, all right? It's not anymore, right? It's not. I mean, Taco Bell spends a ton of time on Snapchat because their demographic is there. In a year from now, right, the demographic will be older. 2 years from now, the demographic will be older. That's how social media works. That's how Facebook worked. That's how Twitter worked. Instagram keeps getting older and older and older. The demographic keeps getting older as more people adopt them. So if you're in the B2B industry, we have found a lot of success in trying to engage like the vendors or the businesses that you're selling to. So educating them. Again, I'm not going to get into the platforms here until just a second, but the educational piece has done wonders for our clients. Educating them on how you can make their job easier through YouTube videos, Facebook videos, industry specific, but as you get into like Instagram and things like that, it becomes a little bit less valuable right now. But specifically, we're talking organic video, Facebook and YouTube are huge. You might not think of it. B2B, you might think, well, I'm not selling to people, so I don't need to be on social media. But who runs those businesses that you're selling to? People. Where are those people? Facebook. They're going onto YouTube to look for answers, right? Remember, YouTube's owned by Google, so when they Google a question, there's probably going to be a video that comes up with a possible answer to their question. So educating people about the problems that they're having is how we found some success for our clients. Okay, so who in here is a marketer? Like you kind of run a marketing company or an agency, or you do social media for other companies or things like that. Okay, who's in a consumer goods industry? Or just consumer business? You're selling to consumers. Okay, who's in B2B? Okay. Who's in nonprofit? Good, so it seems like B2B, consumer, and then nonprofit might take the cake just a little bit. Man, sorry, this cold. So, I'm going to give you some outside-the-box strategies here, and then I want to hear some questions. Is that clock right? Perfect. So, in the nonprofit, I'll start with nonprofit. In the nonprofit world, can somebody tell me, brave soul, what one struggle you have with your specific job getting attention to your nonprofit? Like, what's one issue you're having, in that area? Well, anybody? Yes.
Lack of money.
Lack of money. Perfect. That's actually the perfect answer. Okay. So that is actually the perfect answer, because a big misconception is that videos cost money. They can, hence why we're in business. They can cost money, right? But they don't have to. That's actually a perfect example to show you this. Who knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Actually, I think I mentioned him in my last talk too. He's a well-known marketer. He runs also a digital agency. This is how he got popular.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. I am Gary Vaynerchuk, Director of Operations here at Wine Library and Wine Library.
I'm not going to show you the whole video.
And I am very proud to launch what we think is the first video wine blog. We've been talking about doing a blog here at Wine Library for a long time. We just realized that we had too much text out there between the website and pounding with 4 or 5 emails a day. I know we are.
So Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know how many years ago this was, maybe 12, something like that, had one of his stock boys at his wine shop in New Jersey pick up a camera one day, and he's like, we're going to start a YouTube show. And this was, I believe, actually, this wasn't 12 years ago. This was less than that. But this was right around when Google purchased YouTube, maybe a little bit before. But he said, we're going to pick up a camera one day, and we're going to film this show, and we're just going to do it because, I want to put out our knowledge about wine. He didn't sell wine on there. He didn't say, hey, you can get this at Wine Library for $20 or whatever. In fact, I don't think he did that through all 1,000 episodes that they did. Actually said, like, hey, you can buy this at our place. All he did was review wine. And it cost them $0 all 1,000 episodes. Now, a little disclaimer. This was before there was so much saturation on YouTube. However, this opportunity still lies on Facebook, because Facebook's video platform is not as saturated as YouTube, A. B, if you do have a little bit of money, there's a huge opportunity with Facebook to pay to get your video posted in front of the specific demographic that you want to see that video. So unlike YouTube, you could pay $5, $10, $20 for a day or two, depending on your budget, to show that to males 45 to 60 years old who like charity, that live in Syracuse, New York, who have an income of $100,000 or more. I mean, the targeting is ridiculous. But outside of that, paying to get that in front of them, the video could cost you nothing. This is very unedited, unproduced, and Dennis won't like me saying this, but you don't necessarily need to go crazy with production to get your point across. You know what's more important? The story that you tell in the way that you tell it. Another example is a Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat is a YouTuber. He is very good at video editing and doing that into creating a story. But in terms of like special effects or any of that kind of stuff, there's none of it in there. It's all about the story. He literally just does the whole show with basically taking selfie videos. But he tells the story of why people should be watching that show and engaging with him. So for a nonprofit with little to no money, it's all about crafting this story. Why would somebody care about your nonprofit? Why would they want to donate? Why would they want to participate? Why would they want to attend events? Why would they want to volunteer? Why? We recently had and I swear, oops, sorry, that's my mic. This is not a plug, but this just popped into my head. We had a client launch New York, which did a crowdfunding campaign, and it was a relatively difficult project because they weren't charity and they weren't like a cool product like Kickstarter. So it was very hard to figure out how to get people interested in, and they are a nonprofit, by the way. How do you get people interested in supporting entrepreneurs? Some of them that are going to very high-level schools, like they're not hurting for money, but how do you get people interested in supporting entrepreneurs? And we just came up with the best possible stories. And if we have time, I can show you the video, but we crafted stories about these entrepreneurs, the great things that they were doing, the ways that they were supporting their communities, and we marketed that directly to the people who have connections to Syracuse, to Buffalo, to Rochester, to Binghamton, and the other areas that Launch New York served. And that was a huge success for us because getting those people with the ties to those areas is what brought in those donations to the crowdfunding campaign. But it all started with the story to say, this is why you need to care about this cause. So, Facebook, all you need is a camera. Honestly, you don't even need that. Use your phone, right? If you have an iPhone, that's high quality as you need. Just try to get some good lighting, and you're all set. This is not going to happen overnight. You might get some attention if you do pay to get this out to the right demographic, but this took 1,000 episodes for him to then kind of grow into the place that he is now, right? I'm not saying it's going to take 1,000 episodes, and I'm not telling you you're going to get here either, but the results will come from consistency of telling the right story to the right people at the right time. That's essentially what we call engagement marketing, which is in direct opposition to interruption marketing, right? So when you think video, don't think, how can I create the most powerful video to show to as many people as possible to get the largest impact possible? Because it's going to be so incredibly hard to do that these days. What you should be thinking is, how can I tell the right story to the right people at the right time to get those people to act on whatever that is? We're talking nonprofit. It's probably to donate, to volunteer, to participate, or to attend an event. Okay, in the consumer world, very competitive, with content especially. One, because consumer businesses are the most likely to adopt a social media campaign or marketing strategy, because we know people are on social media and we want to get our message to those people. So it's an incredibly competitive area. Your competitors are probably on social media. Unless they're rock stars, there's a good chance they're not doing it the best they possibly could. And I'm going to tell you the way that you can use video to do that, okay? And you'll notice a common theme. But somebody with a consumer business, same question. What are your struggles with content, gaining attention online? Anybody? Any brave souls out there? Yes?
Finding the right audience.
Like, do you know your customer offline? You want to find them online? Or
A customer is somebody who's usually 40 years old,
Perfect. So I was just in the city, and who knows what Airbnb is? I did an Airbnb. Oh, nice. A lot of people. That's good. Airbnb is a housing exchange app. Basically, I stayed in an Airbnb, and it was an artist. He's a painter. And I was talking to him about this same type of industry. So I'll back up with finding your customer online, right? One of the best and easy ways to find who your customer is or how many of them are out there. Number one is a site called Quora.com, Quora.com. It's essentially like a question and answer site, a Yahoo Answers, but it's incredibly powerful, and it's presented in a way that only the people that would benefit from the answers and the questions kind of see it. It's like your Facebook feed, but for Q&A. So this is actually a site that we use to do some very preliminary research. So if we get a new client and we're still trying to learn, we go in, we do our onboarding, and we spend some time at their offices and really partner with them and learn how it works. And we go onto Quora and we search the people or the keywords that they kind of present to us, and we look at what questions these people are asking. And I will 100% guarantee you that it's on Quora, your industry. I mean, there's crazy niches on there you wouldn't even believe. So go onto Quora and type in art industry, painting, and get as deep as you want with that. Acrylics, like whatever you want to kind of go into, and look and see what people are asking, what questions people are asking on there, and then who's answering it, what type of businesses are answering it, so you can kind of get a whole lay of the land of who your competition is, what problems your customers are having. And then what you can do is take all that information. I won't get into tactics, but it's relatively easy to search how to do this. Go onto Facebook, the business side of it, the ads manager, and then start to type in the interests, the demographics, financial, geographical, like I said, interests, gender, whatever you want, because Facebook has an incredible amount of information, scary to a lot of us, but regardless, they do. And you'll be able to see approximately how many people you can attract. Now, this is just on Facebook, but because Facebook has 1.7 maybe billion people on it now, that's where most of the people are. And then you can use that information to then move to other platforms and do Q&As on YouTube. Because again, remember, people are searching us. So you start with Quora, you find out what people are asking, and then you can bet the questions that they're asking there, they're going to be asking in Google. And if they're asking it in Google, if they have any desire to watch a video about it, they're going to watch it on YouTube. So this actually works for any business, B2B. I mean, this isn't just consumer-based, right? Or consumer-based businesses. This is nonprofits. This is everybody. That's a very simple kind of strategy that we use over and over again among a bunch of other stuff. But that's a preliminary research starts on a site like Quora because it is so powerful, and then we use that general data to try to fine-tune down from there. But to keep it very simple, that's a great way to find out what the problems are, and then from there, you just let the machine happen, right? You let it work. You let the internet work. When people search things, the idea is that your content is there. This is not a quick game, however, unless you do like a pay-to-play. Google AdWords, paid Facebook that has a button, bless you, button that allows you to buy something right there, right? So you can do all that stuff. But if we're talking low cost or long-term strategy, if you guys want to be around 5 years, 10 years, having this organic play with videos that educate people or engage people on what your business is doing and why you're more valuable, that's the long-term play, is to give them what they want. You can't give them what you want. You need to give them what they want. And answering their questions, because my Airbnb host, I don't know much about the art industry. I was asking him questions for like a half an hour. Super interesting, right? Very, very interesting to me. In fact, I might buy some art from him now, right? So, and it was just that conversation. But these conversations can happen over over the internet now, online. They can. And you've probably had them. You've probably had them with people, brands maybe, that you love, media outlets, bless you. It's just kind of the video often are the pieces of content that it starts with and that people engage with the most. And I'll go back to Facebook again. Facebook is not, you might look through your Facebook feed and be like, this is all crap. But I'm telling you, if you're trying to sell something, it is still one of the most powerful platforms out there. It is. The data shows it. The people are still on there. People love shit. They love crappy content. They love crappy content. All right? It's like our vice. It's just the way it works. So, BuzzFeed shows are hilarious, and they're like Bravo TV. I mean, there's $1 million companies out here that are putting content out there that isn't really making us any better as human beings, but we still consume it. And that's what you see a lot of Facebook. You see pictures of, like people fighting, like on videos, and like just every terrible thing you can possibly, car crashes, like just stuff that you're like, I don't want to watch this, but it's on there. People do. They have millions and millions of views. And your content, hopefully, is going to cut through a lot of that and give them some value. B2B, right? Nonprofit consumer, B2B. B2B is a very interesting industry. It's a very interesting industry when it relates to digital and social media. It also provides one of the greatest opportunities for companies that are willing to kind of move the needle a little quicker than their competitors. Who runs or is part of a B2B company here and is willing to tell me what's your struggle with, we'll get right to it, getting new customers? Getting attention, getting new customers, yes?
I work for an engineering firm.
Perfect.
And most of our following on Facebook are employees, so it's kind of hard to reach out to other companies.
So who are your customers specifically?
Like federal,
Okay,
municipal, things like that.
perfect. Yep.
Not always, but we do work for other.
Mm-hmm. So, my girlfriend's dad builds bridges, and he works almost exclusively with the same, types of government contracts and municipal things like that. We had a conversation a few months back, and we're discussing the same thing. I said, I don't know. His name's John. Also, I said, John, have you ever looked at like digital marketing or media at all, or anything like that? And he's like, no, we haven't really. Our customers are government, and it's all based on, the RFP structure and responding to those and submitting proposals. And I said, okay, well, is it based solely on cost? And he said, a good portion is, right? But there's also a huge reputation factor. And if your company doesn't have any proof that we can build a bridge, like nobody's going to hire you. And we do have they do have a goal to expand and to try to take more contracts in larger areas. And so I asked him, I said, well, so these people making decisions about your company, they're people, right? And he's like, yeah, they're a person, a team maybe, a board of some sort, or it just kind of depends. And I said, well, what if you were to help to show them that you guys have done some really great projects, you're reputable, that you guys are trustworthy, you hold by your word, you stand by your word, and then if it comes down, to cost with another company, that you have kind of this structure, this base of a reputation that you've built, would that be valuable to you? He said, absolutely. So this one conversation kind of turned his brain around about being able to utilize these type of content to build a reputation. Because what we don't realize is that unconsciously, marketing has, that magical marketing effect, whether we all want to admit it or not. To brand ourselves in people's brains with repetition of valuable content, right? Used to work with commercials. If you still watch a lot of TV, like it still probably works, right? If you're still watching a lot of commercials, the more commercials you see, good example, not for creativity, but for repetition, would be Fusillo, right? For 20 years or however long he's been going, he's beat into our brains that, hey, he's here, right? Whether you like it or not, that brand is there. Now, not saying it's a good brand, a bad brand, or how you feel about it, but it's there. So that repetition has, beat its way into our brains. So for an engineering firm, as long as you can, going back to the art, example, as long as you can deliver the right type of content to those people, you can support potentially some future contracts with that brand recognition of your engineering firm. And there's other engineering firms, and I don't know which one you work for, that you see some advertising around. Might be TV, it might be kind of partnership or sponsored events, those types of things. And that's okay, that's especially if it's local stuff. But the power of social media and content is amazing because, again, just like, the B2B, there's people behind those businesses. So they're on Facebook. And so if you can target people who are engineers who work in the Syracuse area, or actually you wouldn't target engineers, you are an engineer. So you target people that work for government, municipal organizations in whatever area you might be trying to fill out RFPs for, and do that for the months leading up to, delivering them not like, hey, hire us, we're going to submit an RFP in a couple of months to you, but delivering them content of why you are the best engineering firm around and the projects that you've done. You obviously have to get permission by the previous things, but case studies, proof, social proof. Delivering this to those people via video content, whatever that might be, would be a huge opportunity to be able to boost the reputation so that you can move the needle just a little bit in your favor when it comes down to deciding who they're going to select for that job. You could do that with relatively little money, but if we're talking, a $10 million, $20 million job, you could also invest in this with the expectation that even if you don't get the work, you can use this. It'll get more legs for the next time you want to kind of target an area or a geographical area or an industry or whatever it might be. Yes?
Could you elaborate a little bit more on utilizing video on Facebook?
Sure. Do you have a specific question or just in general?
Well, I have Facebook and I do some Facebook, but I kind of got off it because it wasn't paying off.
Yeah.
And when I go on there now, it's just a bunch of messages from friends and people and things like that. And I probably have about 200 people, 300 people. I don't really know.
Do you have a business page? Brand page?
I do.
Okay. So use that brand page. All boils down to the story, right? How you're going to present that story on video. Videos, again, the most valuable type of content you can post on Facebook now. It'll get the most attention because Facebook is putting a lot of stock in their video. They're trying to build themselves up to the next YouTube. So you're going to get the most attention. You're going to get the most views. And then if you do spend a little bit of money, you can target that to your specific demographic. But I can't stress it enough. It all boils down to the story that you tell, and that stems from those problems that they're having.
I haven't seen any videos on Facebook.
Really? Yeah.
I don't use it a lot.
Okay.
Anymore.
No. Yeah. Yeah. They're on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yes.
You upload the video
just hit the photo button.
But on the platform, on
Yep.
Facebook platform, you're not hosted on YouTube and LinkedIn.
No, in fact, if you host it on YouTube and try to share it on Facebook, you actually won't get as many views
Okay, so
because Facebook doesn't like YouTube.
upload it right on your Facebook
Yeah,
button on the Facebook
yeah.
page. Okay.
Yep, yes.
Now that you're on the subject of Facebook,
Yeah, let her rip. Questions, Q&A. I didn't realize what time it was.
have you, they launched the live,
Yeah.
Facebook, and I've dabbled with it with my company. Have you seen any companies do it successfully?
The most successful is not a company. It's actually Gary Vaynerchuk.
He's done it, he did the
Yeah, huge. Oh, sorry, the CrossFit Games too. That's another one, right? So CrossFit, big. They're massively growing into kind of a pro sport, and they've used it for this year's. Long story. It's the Open. It's where anybody can submit their scores and get a chance to make it to the CrossFit Games. But they've used it with huge success, and they've done it in a way that's very valuable because here's what you do: find your. We've actually dabbled with it. We haven't launched it with any of our brands yet, just testing, mostly internal. But find whatever platform you get the most engagement with. Email could be your website, wherever it might be, and let people know when you're going to be doing a live stream on Facebook. So now you're drawing from your biggest audience and pulling them over to a platform they're probably already on. And you're giving them a live, could be a Q&A, it could be a presentation, but regardless, they can ask questions right there. So it's hugely, it's very successful. It's a very good opportunity to be successful in engaging people in a real time.
Today I did Taste of Syracuse at live stream the
Nice.
for example, or I work for radio stations.
Yeah.
At one of our radio stations, we just went out to Armory Square and gave out T-shirts, and we had like hundreds of people watching it, and actual people running downtown trying to get some T-shirts. So I see that as success for it. And I'd like to see some more people dabble with it too.
Absolutely.
I haven't really seen too many people do that.
Just once you find a little bit of value with something, and a quick side note, I want you all to really write down the Twitter thing. Even if you don't use Twitter right now, or Purple Cow, however you want to remember that you need to use social media to reach out to people and pull them into situations like this. Reach out to them individually and pull them into, hey, we're having a live stream. So spending time on Twitter, if you guys have a Twitter, and saying, hey, handle, like this is the actual person, not just a tweet, but actually tweeting to somebody and saying, hey, we're having this open live stream. I'd love for you to come attend, ask some questions, invite your friends. What do you think? And let them answer, right? So let them answer and try to really engage them into coming in. It's going to make it much more likely. We did some Twitter chats for one of our clients, and that's 100% of how we got the participants is we spent literally one full day just tweeting out to people and asking them to participate. Did it the day before. It was amazing. Worked out great. We got like close to 1 million impressions that day in a 1 hour period. Yes?
What about Periscope?
It's great. It's good. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months with it. Live streaming is really, really great. Live streaming for a brand that's unknown right now, we haven't seen a ton of value in it. So same thing, if you can drive people to it, then it's valuable. But using it to just start a live stream and hoping people come is not going to be valuable. Yes?
Any thoughts on Vlad?
We haven't used it too much yet. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
So, I like your suggestion about responding with video, right, to be unique. But I started thinking about it a little bit, and it makes me think about maybe the production. So, like, maybe you're not, maybe you're having a bad hair day or something, you don't realize it. I mean, are you able to?
People love that shit. They love it.
The brand that you put out, you know what I mean? Like, so instead of replying with a 10-second thank you, now I'm spending a half an hour shaving and,
Don't do it. Go dirty out of bed. Like, I can't even stress how much people love when you're real, right? whoever's on Instagram, I'm sure you follow people on there that like they're influencers. Maybe they get paid through Instagram, not through Instagram, but paid by like brands that do product placement or whatever like that, right? Do you know how many times they take pictures just to post one picture, right? Makeup or like lighting. I mean, they're literally spending hours because it's their income probably, or they're trying to build their brand. But those people, those brands are becoming so saturated, and it's fake. We see it, right? It's fake. We know that they're not like that every day, and that's why Snapchat is so incredibly popular right now. It's the in-between moments that people really want to see. We want to see it more for the celebrities because they're like, whoa, they're real people, right? But if you can deliver your transparent self and still deliver value, people will appreciate that way more than trying to be an act or fake it or trying to present yourself in a way that's not real, right? Because you're not going to earn trust that way, right? If we meet somebody today and they say, you know what, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'd really like to connect for coffee sometime because I want to sell you my product. Would you take the meeting with them, right? But if you say, hey, you know what, I'd really like to buy you a cup of coffee. I'm not going to, no sales pitch here. What I really want to do is just learn more about your company. If it's not a right fit, worst case scenario, you get a cup of coffee on me. More likely to take that, right? So it's the same way with a video. It's the same way with any sort of interaction on social media. Be real to try to earn their trust. Be authentic to try to make sure that they want to engage with you, and just do your best to not try to fake it. You can. There's certain instances where you might want to present yourself. Like if you're paying money to produce a video of some sort, like sure you want to present yourself in the best light as possible. Or if it's a video with like actors or something like that. There's places for production, but if we're talking like these outreach videos, just be super real. Just be super real. That's it.
I'm afraid we're going to have to end on that note. How about a round of applause for John?
Thank you.